So for slightly under $700, I found a pretty good home gym for you that I'm going to give you my honest review on right now. So let me introduce you to the Eon Fit Omni E2 Power Rack. So let's take a look. So I have the professional installers, and that's the first thing that I want you to see, because that's the number one question I get anytime I review a machine, was how hard was it to install? Now personally, I don't install anything myself. I pay professionals to do that. So I hired some professionals, and this is their first time ever building a machine like this. That this is a machine that you can get for less than $700. So I need you to put everything in perspective as it relates to what your expectations are when you get this in your home. And I will tell you, my first opinion when it came out of the box and I picked up one of the accessories was, oh man, this is cheap. But I want you to understand, at the end of this video, you'll see that I no longer have that opinion because it was disassembled. I was looking at it as individual parts, not the total of what it became when it finally was put together and it was sitting here, and I had the opportunity to play around on it for a couple of days before I did my review, because I really want to give you my honest opinion about this. Now, I will divulge to you in 100% honesty that I am being paid, and they did send me this for free. Companies do this. But I told them, you will not edit what I say, and I will not say what you want me to. I'm going to give the honest review on this, whether you like it or not. And I'm posting it on my page, and you have no control over it. So if you want to send me this thing and pay me money for it, you better beware of what might come out of my mouth, because I'm never going to lie, because I've already been paid. Like, they can't do anything. They can't get the money back. So with that being said, my first thought was this thing's kind of cheap. But as it got put together, I realized that for the money, that my expectations were too high, because I'm in this industry. This is what I do. I'm surrounded by the best equipment in the world. I'm not used to training on this thing. So I have to put my mind in the mindset of the consumer that's going on Amazon, which, by the way, is where you can get this, to purchase an item like this, and they have a limited budget, but they really want to train. They really want to work out. So I have to take my, I guess, spoiled opinion or my spoiled experience in what I'm used to in my home gym and put that aside and help you understand that for 700 bucks, this is a pretty good deal. So let's talk about the accessories. When I pick up the accessories, they're a little bit light, but I mean, it's certainly not going to break. It's not going to bend. It came a little scratched. There were some scratches on here, which is to be expected. There's probably hardly anything that's been shipped from overseas that's gone through all of that trauma and not received some sort of scratching. So this didn't bother me all that much. So I have the dip bars, and then you have a tricep handle, which I think is a little bit cheap. They could have done a better job with this. It's just simply 2 nylon straps. It'll certainly do the job, but I like ropes better, but this will do the job for tricep extensions, bicep curls, and things like that. Maybe not the most comfortable thing in the world, but it will get the job done. Then you have the handles. The handles I like. The handles are really good. It's great plastic. It's strong material. You have 3 different clips on here to make it longer or shorter, so I like the handles. So then you have the tricep bar and the lat pull down bar. Now these, they're a little bit light, but they're certainly going to do the job. They're not going to bend. They're not going to break. They're powder coated, so they're not going to rust if you have it outside, like I have my stuff outside. And you can hear it's pretty solid. And I actually love this lat pull down bar for this reason right here. You have these 3 different places that you can attach cables to. Obviously the middle one for lat pull downs, but this one you can attach to the cables at the bottom or at the top and use this for bicep curls, overhead extensions, and things like that, which I'll show you here in a bit. So, boom, solid. Then you come back here, the weights, these are Olympic size holders, so they hold Olympic weights. You've got a cable system The cable is good cable. It's not going to break. It's not going to bend unless you come over here and try and break it or bend it. But it's rubber coated. It's very quality. And then these adjustable pulleys, they adjust pretty decent, but like a lot of them, they get stuck in certain places because they're coated with plastic, they're rubbing on metal, so the friction that's created is kind of hard. So you get to some spots, it moves easier, but what I would recommend is that you grease these up really well, and this one moves down fine. It doesn't affect how the machine works. All I gotta do is tighten these up. Now, you've got pull-up bars with 1, 2, 3, 4 different grips on them right here. And what I will mention, one other feature is the landmine, which I do not like the positioning of the landmine because it is at the side of the machine. And at my home gym here, there's not enough room for an Olympic bar for me to come all the way out here and use that. So I would have liked to have seen them put the landmine on the front right here, because on the front on this side, they have the bar that is meant for when you bring the cable down to do low rows. The fact, now I haven't even mentioned this yet, this arm articulates, which is pretty cool. I have not seen this on any other machine. This arm articulates, so you could use it on the inside for shoulder press, for example, chest presses. So this will articulate all the way out for different exercises. Really, it's up to your imagination to what you want to do with these things. And once again, when I first did this and I saw that these arms were extended all the way out here, I was kind of worried that when I stepped out here and did my cable flies, that this might come forward on me, but it didn't. It's not attached to the ground. And the fact is, you're going to have weights back there, so that's going to help hold the machine down to the ground. One thing that I was a little bit confused on when I got this was the fact that these chains are down here. Now, I don't know why they would have chains here as opposed to the cable coming all the way down and hooking here. Because as you can see, if I were to pull this cable down and hook it here, this weight stack would be up in the air, and that is not right. So the only thing that we could think about when it was being installed was maybe the cables were too short. Maybe they made a bunch of cables that were too short. Now, I am completely guessing here. I have no clue as to why they would do that. That's my only explanation that makes rational sense to me. So there you have it. And then you have the J-hooks for squatting as well, if you have an Olympic bar. Weights do not come with it. Olympic bar does not come with it. It comes with everything that you saw right here. And then there's an extra 2 chains with a carabiner for what, I don't know. The chains, a strong man could break the chains. All right, so let me do a few exercises on here to kind of show you that, and then I'm going to give you my overall assessment of this thing once I'm done. Okay, so I'm going to do a cable fly movement right now. Let me get these accessories out of the way. We're going to attach our handles, and we can move our articulating arms to wherever we want them. This actually is a really super cool feature that I like. The only reason I wouldn't like this feature is when you're down at the bottom doing low rows, it's at the same distance that your feet would be at, so you don't really get a full extension, so you would have to scoot back a little bit. This honestly is kind of a waste in my opinion, but it easily pulls out, so you don't even need to attach that if you don't want to. I'm going to not use it. I'm going to take it out because it's a trip hazard otherwise, so I'm going to remove that. So let's hook up the cables for the handles. Oh, one other thing that I want to mention is I would have liked to have seen them number this on the inside because I just had them on the wrong holes. They weren't the same height, but if there were a numbering system here, it would be a lot easier to do that. I'm still not even sure I'm at the same height. Okay. It's pretty smooth. It feels solid. It's not shaking back there. I am not worried that's going to tip over on me. Remember, this is for less than $700. One other thing that I would like to have seen, I mentioned this before, is a tricep rope instead of this. I have a feeling this isn't going to be the most comfortable thing in the world, so let's do a overhead tricep extension. I've got big hands, so these holes are a little bit small for my hands. And you don't want to leave this in the sun because it'll dry rot. But once again, this serves the purpose. And I gotta say, that's really smooth. We put a little bit of lubricant on the poles back there, but listen. Honestly, the more I use this, the more impressed I become. I made a harsh, immediate judgment when it came out of the box, and that's not right. This actually is, for the money and what it can do, it's a pretty good machine, man. Again, I'm gonna hold off my total judgment till the end of the video. I'm gonna do a couple more exercises for you. So now we're gonna take this handle right here. And remember, I talked about the outside connections. Ooh, yeah. That is cool, I like that. All right, so now we got the dip bars. I would like to have seen them label them right and left because it can be a little bit confusing as to how these go in, but they go in like this. This slides in here, you turn it up through the holes and it slides down. So it's just a matter of what side goes on which side. And again, if this were numbered, it would be a lot easier to get them on the right, but I got lucky here. So my son got on here earlier and his comment was, oh, I feel like these are gonna break, but I'm 185 pounds. It's solid. It's absolutely solid. See, the thing about it is he's used to working on commercial grade equipment like I have here at home. So this is sturdy, it's not gonna break. The machine is sturdy. If I shake it side to side, so this is solid, front, back, side to side. This honestly is something that I really think you should consider. So here's what I want you to do. Head over to Amazon.com, look up the EonFit Omni Power Rack E2 and decide for yourself based upon all the reviews that you're gonna see and all the data that you're gonna see on this machine. Do you have the space for it? Is it something that you like how it looks? I'm telling you that I feel, in my honest opinion, that this is well worth the investment that you will make on this machine if you're a beginner, if you're someone on a limited budget, if you're someone who might have the budget but just doesn't want to spend a lot of money on a machine, you're just looking for something that will get the job done. This right here will get the job done.